Okay, perfect. Wonderful. So welcome once again, everyone, to this webinar. So this is part 2 of getting started with Practice Better. I am Jen Miller, Community Manager with Practice Better, and this is my colleague, Sam Nicholson. Sam is our Customer Success Specialist. Hey, Sam.
Hey, Jen. Hey, everyone.
Hey, everyone. So in part 2 of getting started today, we're going to walk you through a couple of things. So how to create and customize your first form, so an intake questionnaire, create a note template. We're going to walk you through setting up 2 simple automations. And then we're finally going to look at the end, sort of how it all comes together by taking a look at the client recent activity stream. Okay. So just a couple housekeeping items before we dive in. So please feel free to use the chat for any questions you have. If you haven't set your chat to everyone, make sure you do that now. It'll probably default to just hosts and panelists, and we want to make sure that your questions and comments can be seen by everyone attending today. So you can do that now. And we'll try to get to as many questions as we can within the time slot that we have, which is 45 minutes. And know that you'll have some follow-up resources that we'll provide as well. If you didn't get your question answered, you'll also be receiving the replay for this session. And we also did a part 1 on Tuesday for this. So let us know in the chat if you joined part 1, but you're going to get an email today that will have the replay for both part 1 and part 2, which is today. Okay. Wonderful. So let me just see, I saw a question come through in the chat from Sarah. So can you show us how the telehealth or Zoom links work? How do we arrange link meeting by a schedule or email? So Sarah, we covered that in part 1. So you're going to get the replay for part 1 if you weren't there on Tuesday. Okay. All right, great. So yeah, wonderful. So Sam, let's go ahead and you can share your screen and we'll dive in.
Perfect. Are you able to see my screen now, Jen?
Yeah, it looks great.
Awesome.
Perfect. Okay, let me just get my chat back here. There it is. Okay, wonderful. So where we're going to start today is with forms. So I know in part 1 on Tuesday, there was a couple questions about this. So we're looking forward to walking you through forms. So in Practice Better, you have the ability to create custom forms right within the platform, which is really great. You can start from scratch and build your own form, or you can use one of our pre-built templates, which is what we're going to walk you through in a moment, is using a pre-built template. And the forms feature is really great because clients can actually then fill out forms electronically right through the platform, right from their phone even, or their desktop or computer, whatever it is. They don't have to print, scan, send back to you, that whole kind of cumbersome process. So it just saves a lot of time for both you and your clients and makes it a little more streamlined. So we're going to look today at how you can create your first intake questionnaire. So this is likely an important step when you're getting set up. And so wanting to make sure you're able to obviously collect all that info you need from your client right off the bat, like their health information, their health history, desired outcomes, goals, like all of that kind of stuff. And the benefit of using forms in this way is then you can review the responses right in Practice Better to ensure you have all of that information you need to feel like you're set up for success in that first session with your client, right? So Sam, let's take a look at how we can set up that first form.
Jen, so as you mentioned, you can use forms for a lot of purposes. So to actually create them, what we're going to do is we'll click on My Practice at the top. When this expands, we're going to go ahead and just click on Forms and Waivers right here towards the middle. Once we click on that, basically all the forms that I've created, which I've created a few already, they will appear here. And in order to create more, we'll just select the fast action icon in the bottom right-hand corner. And this little window will expand here. These options will expand. And you have the option to either create a form from scratch if you select this create form icon, or you can use one of our pre-built templates using this wand icon here. So let's select create from template because this is pretty common for a first form. And what I'm going to do is I'll click on this. And then you'll see all of our pre-built templates that you can build from in the system right here. But I'm going to select a common one, which is the intake questionnaire. When that opens, you'll receive this prompt just notifying you that the form uses placeholders, which will automatically pull in information from the client's record. These are optional and can be removed. So here I'll just go ahead and select got it. And then the create form window will open, and it will pre-populate with the intake questionnaire form that we have in the system. So you'll see below, for example, we have this section that's for like basic information where clients can enter their information such as their date of birth or their address and other information. Then we'll scroll down here and you'll see that this populated for a few more sections. Like you'll see here, for example, there's this family history section. There's this personal health history section. So because most of you will use forms for, slightly different purposes, one thing you can do is when you're building from a template, you can just hover over any of the sections here and you can select either the pencil icon if you want to edit it and make slight changes, or if you want, you can also select this trash icon to delete it entirely. So this will really allow you to customize the form however you'd like. So let's say, for example, for my intake questionnaire, I don't need this family history section. I can just go ahead and select delete, and then I can delete the sections here as well. And each time I press delete, you'll notice that the section is removed until all the sections from the family history section are gone. So on the right-hand side here, there are many types of elements that you can add to a form. So we have things here such as like a yes/no question. We have multiple choice. You can also do things like check boxes. I've seen really creative uses of forms, and there's a lot that you can do with them. So I would definitely recommend checking out our forms and creating forms and waivers help article, because it goes over all these elements in details, and it allows you to kind of just play around and see which elements might suit you best for what you're looking for.
Yeah, and Sam, one thing I was going to mention too is just anytime we refer to a help article, we'll be sending out with the replay email. You'll get the links for all of the relevant help articles, so you can refer to those as almost a guide afterwards, just to support you. So just wanted to mention that.
Thanks, Jen. Yeah, and definitely our forms and waivers is a really good one too, because when you're first looking at it, you want to make sure you're choosing the best option that you can for it. So definitely give that a check out when it's sent to you. So from here, basically, let's say now that I've gone through the form, I've reviewed it, everything looks good, and I don't really need to make any more changes. All I would do now is just at the very top, I go ahead and click on Save and Exit. And once I do so, you'll see that now that my intake questionnaire, it appears with my other forms and waivers I've created, which meaning I can reuse it and send it to clients at any time. So there are many ways that forms can be sent to clients. This includes things like, in the last webinar, I mentioned the public booking page form, which allows clients to actually complete a form while they're booking a session with you. You can also create automations, which we'll be covering shortly, which will allow forms to be sent automatically when a booking or package is confirmed. So one other thing to note that a lot of people don't realize is you can also opt to complete the forms on your client's behalf. All you would need to do is you just select the 3 dots icon beside the form, and you can press the complete for client option here. Once you complete it this way, it will be available in their forms and waivers section as if they completed it themselves. This can be handy, for example, if you're in a session with the client and you just want to go through the form together and complete it. However, I find in my experience, the simplest way to quickly send a form to a client is just to go ahead and select this send to client option here. When you do so, you can just click on whichever client you'd like to send it to in the top. So in this case, I'll send it to my client, Mary. And then below, my intake questionnaire is checked because I'd selected that. But I also could, if I want to, send multiple forms to this client, whichever ones I basically want them to receive. But for now, I'm just going to send my intake questionnaire because I'm just getting started with Mary. And then all I would have to do is at the top here, I'll click send. And then this little prompt will come up that will say confirm and send, that they'll receive a notification letting them know they have the form. And then I'll press send. And the form will be sent to my client and I'll be good to go.
Yeah. So I love that, Sam. And I think, what we really want to emphasize here is just the ease of, getting started with forms, because there is a lot you can do with forms like Sam mentioned, but, when you're first getting started, there's likely just a couple of forms you want to set up, and you can use the templates such as the intake questionnaire to do so, just to make it really easy for yourself. And, then you can kind of go through like Sam showed and make any tweaks that make sense for your practice and the information you want to collect. And it just makes it a lot faster for you than, starting from scratch. But, you definitely can also start from scratch when you're building that form as well. And then really easy to just go ahead and send that to the client manually. But like Sam said too, we're going to show you in a little bit how you can set up an automation, so that will go out automatically as well. Okay, we've got a couple questions here. So let me just refer back to our chat. So Priscilla had asked, can you embed a link to an outside website within the intake form? Yeah, so Priscilla, you could definitely include, maybe Sam, just go back into edit with the intake questionnaire there, and you can actually just add like a text field. Yeah. And maybe
so let me drag that over.
Yeah, sure. That'd be great. And then, yeah, so you could include a link here and maybe just hover over the link icon there. Yeah, there we go. So you could use that feature to include an external link in your form if you wanted. Okay. Bernadette had asked, can we create a QR code for this patient intake form and send out as a marketing tool / flyer? So within Practice Better, we don't have the ability to create a QR code specifically, but what you can do, maybe Sam, we can just pull up how they can get the link, the external link to complete the form, is just go share link as Sam's showing here. And this will be a link that takes them to complete the form. And that's a public link. So you could, I think there might be like websites where you can create QR codes. So maybe you just need a URL and then you can create the QR code from there. So you could use this link to do that. So that would be that piece. Let's see here. Sam, any other questions you were seeing that we should touch on right now?
Let me just see here. I think there was a good one. Is there a way to, Karen had asked, is there a way to require that the client completes a particular form a specific time prior to their appointment? And auto remind them if they haven't. So for that question, Karen, the way I always structure it is, if you want to ensure that a client has completed a form before they book a session with you, is to attach it to your public booking page. Basically, you can have it so when, like, let's say a client's booking a discovery call, the form will actually prompt as they're booking the call, and they have to either sign it or fill out any information you require. And then it won't let them proceed with the booking unless they've completed the form. You can also send, once a form has been sent to a client, you can also send reminders for the form as well. And then Sarah had asked, when they return the form, does it stay in their record? It does indeed, Sarah. So like once the client completes the form, either on a booking page, or if you've sent it to them manually, or basically any way a client completes the form, it's always available in their client record. You just open up their client record and go to their forms and waivers section. And the good thing too is it will actually show you the date and time it was completed as well. And I think those are the questions that I have for now.
Yeah, perfect. So let's shift into our next section here. We want to make sure we can get through all of our content today. So again, just know if we can't get to every single question, that we will share some follow-up resources as well as the replay for both this session and part 1, which was on Tuesday. Okay. Wonderful. So as you continue to work with clients, you're going to want to be able also to compile your notes for your sessions, right? To be able to have that as a record for your time spent with your clients. And the note-taking process, as many of you likely have experienced, can sometimes be a bit time-consuming and cumbersome. And so in Practice Better, we want to sort of show you a way that you can actually streamline this a little bit, because that note-taking process is so important, right? So what we have is a feature called Note Templates. And this basically allows you to set up a one-and-done template for your session notes that can be used over and over again and with multiple clients. So just really mitigates having to, copy and paste maybe certain like questions that you ask most clients or prompts for yourself, into multiple notes and kind of reinvent the wheel every time. With a note template, instead, you just create that once and you can use that over and over again. So, you may have multiple different note templates that you want for like different types of sessions or even like niche areas. So today we're going to look at how you can set up a common first note template for your initial consultation session. And then maybe, from there, you'd also want to set one up for your follow-up sessions, or maybe specifically like your gut health clients or your blood sugar clients, or, those kind of things. There's, different ways you could do that, whatever makes sense for your workflow. So Sam, let's take a look at how we can set up that first note template for our initial consultation.
Thanks, Jen. So I did see one more question about forms before we do the note templates. We had been asked, is a way to have a client initial in certain spaces on a form. So we don't technically have an initial element, but you can use a short response element and ask the client for their initials. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that you don't really necessarily need to do that. Like if you have a client signature on your form, basically that signature is like their consent that they've agreed to the form, and that will be accessible to you forever. So unless you really need to, you don't necessarily need to have them initial. But yeah, you could do that with a short response element.
Sam, sorry, I think we do have a signer field for our forms. I just wanted to
for the initials, you mean?
So the client can virtually sign the form. Let's just go into one of the forms quickly, and we can just walk it through here. Just maybe go into edit the intake form.
Of course, yeah. So we can do it like we can have the client signature like this.
Yeah, I think, was that the question? Maybe I missed.
Yeah, but they were asking about like initialing. I think like doing like if I wanted to initial mine, putting like SN. So like in this case, we normally just recommend using like the client signature, so they can just like actually do the signature at the end of the form.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So I think that would be what they're looking for there. So just that little like almost feather icon in the top right of the form elements there.
Perfect. Yeah, that's very
that will require the client to sign that virtually. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Jen. So as you mentioned with note templates, there's a lot of great ways that you can use them. So let's go ahead and create one together. So all I would need to do is click on My Practice here, and I would just click Note Templates at the bottom. And then, I went faster. That's My Practice, and I just clicked on Note Templates. Once I do so, all I would need to do is just select in the bottom right-hand corner, I'll click on the Fast Action icon. And when I do so, I will have the option to, similar to forms, I'll have the option to kind of create one from scratch by selecting Create Template here, or I can create one from the pre-built template using the Create from Template option. So similar to how we did it with the forms, we'll go ahead and click on Create from Template. And when I do so, all of the pre-built templates that we have available in the note section will appear. So I'm going to go ahead, because this is another common one for getting set up, is the initial consultation session notes. So I'll just go ahead and click on that. And when I do so, the similar to the intake form we created earlier, the note template is going to populate with pre-built elements. So you can basically customize and really kind of make it work for you. So on the right-hand side, you'll see these elements again, and you can use these to add text fields. You can do yes or no questions, and you can do checkboxes too. So it allows you to kind of structure this however you'd like. And these can be added to your notes, to any of your note templates at any time. So I'm going to scroll down here, and you're also going to notice that there's these sections here with the percentage signs. So these are called placeholders, and their purpose is to draw information from the client's basic information section directly into the note. So for example, if I'm creating a note for this client, this contact name placeholder will actually pull the client's name directly into the note, which we're actually going to see shortly, and that will save you time. So there's placeholders for different aspects of the platform. So to best optimize them for yourself, you can definitely check out our placeholder help article. So now that we're finished, all we would do is we will go to the top here, and we would select Save, and we'll select Save Template and Exit. And then you'll see here that it appears just like my forms, it appears here in all my template section. So as you outlined, Jen, note templates are meant to be reused with different clients for common encounters. So let's actually see how this will look from when we're creating a note for a client. I'll just go ahead here to the top and I'll click on my clients. And when I click on my clients, my client window will open. And I'm just going to go ahead this time and select Mary. So when I do so, I'm just going to go ahead and select the notes tab on the left-hand side here. And when this opens up, this will show all of the notes that I've assigned to Mary. And all I would need to do from here is I would just select the fast action icon again. And when this opens up, I'll just select my team member. This is for if you're on a team plan. So I'll just select myself. And then when I do so, all the templates that I have in the system will appear here for me to choose between. So let's use the one that we just created together, which is the initial consultation session notes. And when I go ahead and click on this, you'll see that the note for Mary is created pulling in the information from the note template. And basically allowing you to just kind of like, this it will save you a lot of time if you're using the same type of kind of structure with your clients, the same type of notes where you're just kind of capturing similar information. This will save you a lot of time. So one thing I want to note here is with this client, like with the placeholders we were talking about earlier, you'll see that it pulled in like her name, her date of birth. So another time saver for you. And there's an option here that's an important one that I want to discuss, and that is this checkbox right here, the share notes and attach documents with my client. When you enable this, your client will actually be able to view this note in their client portal. So you can, a handy feature is you can opt to make only certain sections of this note visible. So for example, if you wanted to keep some of it private for your own review, but wanted to share some of it with your clients, you can do so. So by default, all sections will be kept private so you don't accidentally share anything that you don't want to. And then to enable any section of the note, all you would need to do is just select this eyeball icon here on the left-hand side. So let's scroll right down to the bottom of our note and just say, for example, I want to just share the plan section of this note with her. I would just hover over this and I would just click the eyeball icon here to make this section visible, meaning that my client can now see the plan section when it's shared with them. So that's it, pretty straightforward. All I would need to do from here is I'll go ahead and select save at the top. And I'm going to select sign and save to finalize my note. And I'll press continue. And then I'll have the option to send a confirmation to my client to let them know that the note's available for them, which is really handy, just to make sure that they're notified and kept in the loop. So I'll select save and share. And then once it's finished, you'll see here that my initial consultation notes appear with my other notes and that my client can access this one at any time.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, and there was a question from Rita about, is there a way to automatically date the note? So as you probably saw, as Sam moved through that, there was a couple places which you could update the date. And then now that it's signed and saved, you'll see May 19th noted there on the note. So yeah, that hopefully that kind of answered your question there, Rita. There was a question from Sharon going back to forms. Is the intake form the same as the discovery call template? So no, those would likely have different questions, Sharon, but you can go in and take a look and see, you know, if they suit your needs. And you can always make tweaks again to those. So, okay, perfect. Yeah. So note templates, I think really the key that we want to get across with that is just that this is really going to save you a lot of time, because often, again, you know, there'll be similar questions you're asking most of your clients with like an intake session, and you know, you might want to pull in some of those placeholders as well. All right, so let's shift into our next section here, which is automation. So sorry, I just have to cough. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that, everyone. Just feeling a little bit of that spring, the spring allergens in the air, I think. All right, so automations, we are really looking forward to sharing with you. Automations basically are a feature in Practice Better that allow you to sort of set it and forget it. So they really help to streamline your workflow and save you a lot of time. Basically what an automation is, and this will make more sense when we walk you through it in a moment. but it basically triggers certain activities to happen within the platform automatically, alleviating that manual work on your part. So we're going to get started by showing you how to set up 2 simple automations today, because there are quite a few different automations you can set up in your practice, but there's sort of 2 that we think, are really helpful when you're very first getting started. So the first one is to automatically confirm your one-on-one booking requests. So when you set up this automation, it will ensure that any new booking requests that come in will be automatically confirmed. Now, this is optional, right? So it depends on how you practice, if you want those to be auto-confirmed or if you want to review them and manually approve them first. But if you are comfortable to, auto-confirm them, it'll just save you that manual step of having to confirm them yourself. And then the second automation is going back to our forms piece, is to automatically send forms after a booking is confirmed. So let's say, with that intake questionnaire that we just looked at, maybe you want to automatically send that to all of your clients after your initial consultation session has been booked and confirmed. So as soon as that session is confirmed, that form will go out automatically and you won't have to manually send that. So we think that's a really great way to save time in that aspect of your workflow. So Sam, let's take a look at how we can set up those first 2 automations.
Thanks, Jen. So I had a couple of good questions here. Heather asked, is there a section for the client to correspond with us? So we do have our messenger, which is great. It's in the bottom right-hand corner here. You can access this in any area of Practice Better. This allows you to send messages to any of your clients who have activated their account. You can basically just come here, expand this, and just choose to message which client you'd like to message. So that's great for if you ever just need to update them on a session, or to send them anything that's specific to them. You can correspond with them with that way. And then Colleen had asked, is it possible to have the information the client filled out client filled out on their intake automatically transferred to the initial consult form? So you can set up what are called form mappings, which are, we have a help article on that. And basically how it works is if a client completes a form, the information can be mapped automatically to their client record. So it just allows you to pull in their data from a form right to their client record. It will go to their basic information section, medical history, and places like that. So yeah, as you mentioned, Jen, automations are great for they're a huge time saver, I think. So let's go ahead and select, create a few of our common ones that we use. So we'll first navigate to My Practice at the top. And then from here, we'll go ahead and click on Automations. And when I do so here, all I would need to do to create an automation is I'll just select the fast action icon again, as usual. And when I click on that, this window will open here with all the automations that we currently offer on the platform. So for this one, the first one we're going to do is to confirm bookings automatically. So I'll just click on confirm one-on-one booking requests. And when I do that, the create automation window will open. So one thing I always recommend is to give your automation specific names so that you can track exactly what they're being used for, because only you as a practitioner can see this. So it just allows you, if you ever need to make changes or edits to your automations, you can just give them pretty specific names so you can refer back to it. Because I intend for this automation to confirm my initial consultations, I'm just going to name this confirm initial consultation so I know exactly what it's doing. And then underneath which services should trigger this automation, I'll just go ahead and expand this. And because this is specifically for my initial consultation, I'm going to go ahead and check that. I could have a trigger with multiple services if I wanted to, but for now, I'm only going to set it for my initial consultation. So then below, you'll notice a few other options here. The first one that's a good one is this auto confirm rescheduled sessions one. So this means that if a client reschedules a session with you in their client portal, the automation will also confirm that as well automatically without you needing to have to reconfirm the booking. So this is a good setting. Like if as a practitioner, you prefer to review rescheduling manually, like you want to check it over first before you actually confirm, then you would want to leave this disabled. However, if you're fine with your clients just kind of rescheduling and just having that confirmed automatically, you can leave this enabled. So because I want my clients to be invited to the platform when this session is confirmed, I'm going to leave this option here. This is an important little option that says give new clients access to the portal. So this is basically the option that will invite your clients to the platform. If no automation exists, your clients are going to be added to Practice Better as a prospective client. If an automation exists and this is unchecked, then a client record will be created for them automatically, but they will not be invited to the platform. However, because I want them to be invited when they book this initial consultation, I do have this checked off right now. This means that when a client books the initial consultation, they will immediately receive an invitation email asking them to activate their account. And then below, you'll notice these options as well to give access to the food and mood journal, as well as give access to the lifestyle journal when they're invited. So I'm going to go ahead and enable both of these. This means that when the client record is created, your clients will have access to both journals by default and can log things like their food intake, exercise, sleep, and other journal data here. If you do not want your clients to have this, you can leave this disabled. And you also can change your mind at any time. So in the future, if you do want to provide them access to the journals, you can enable that as well. So that would pretty much be it here, except for this very last option at the bottom here, which is to mark sessions confirmed on behalf of clients. So this means that your clients will not be asked to confirm their attendance in session confirmation and reminder notifications sent from Practice Better. Because in this case, I'm assuming that the client booking the session is their confirmation that they will be attending, I'm going to leave this enabled. And now that I'm done, all I would need to do is go to the top here and select create. And this here will just letting me know about I'll auto confirm sessions. I'll go ahead and click confirm. And when I do so, my first automation is being created, and that will save me a lot of time in terms of getting my clients on the platform. So we're now going to configure another popular automation, which is to send forms automatically after a session is being confirmed. So to do that, I'll just go ahead and select the fast action icon again in the bottom right-hand corner. And in the create automation window, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select send forms after a booking is confirmed, which is this one right here. Because we just configured the initial consultation to be confirmed automatically, I will now set this form to be sent after they have booked it and it has been confirmed. So again, I'm going to give this a specific name. I'll go ahead and name this as follows. So I have send intake questionnaire after initial consultation has been booked. That way I know exactly what this automation is doing without me needing to review it. And again, under which service should trigger this form to be sent, I'm going to go ahead and check off just my initial consultation for now. But again, you could have this option for multiple services. And because I want clients to receive this form as soon as they book the session, I'm going to leave this where it says send form. When should we send forms? I'm going to leave this as send forms immediately. However, you could change this if you want to and have the forms you sent before or after the actual date of the session, depending on kind of how your client engagement goes and how you find clients are responsive to you. And then the very last thing here is below you can select which forms can send. You can select, as we discussed, multiple forms. But for this, I only want them to receive the intake questionnaire because I don't want to send them too much information at once. So all I would need to do is go here, click on the intake questionnaire. And then the very last thing I want to discuss here is at the bottom, you'll see that there's this additional notes field. So if you want the forms that are triggered by this automation to include instructions or just specific things that you want your clients to be aware of while they're completing the form, you can include that here as well as part of your automation. But for now, because this is just a straightforward intake questionnaire, I'm not going to put anything there. And then all I need to do now is select create. And now my form automation is done. And now I have both automations ready to go.
Awesome. Thanks, Sam. Yeah. So just a bit of a recap on both of those automations and what those will do. So the first one, again, that Sam set up there, confirm initial consultations, that will auto confirm that session. So that really takes out that manual step. So anytime a confirmed initial consultation comes through, then or a initial consultation request for a session comes through, that'll be auto confirmed. And then the second one there is for your intake questionnaire and ensuring that that automatically goes out after your initial consultation has been booked and confirmed. So it just, takes sort of a couple of steps that happen, when you're first working with a client as you're getting started, and really automates those to save you a lot of time. So there are, a variety of different automations, again, that can really support you in streamlining and saving a lot of time. But these are two that we wanted to show just to really help get you started. And you can always, as you get more familiar with the platform, as you continue learning more and deciding how you want to set up your workflow and practice better, you can add more automations as you go to your automation list here. But hopefully that supports you in a couple to get you started and save a bit of time kind of right off the bat, right? So there was a couple questions that I did want to address. So Christiana had asked, is there a setting for certain markers to be highlighted for tracking progress, either on the intake form or consultation? So that would be done in the journals feature. So I put a link in the chat. We aren't covering that in our getting started session, but we have a really amazing help article, multiple articles on the journals that you can take a look at there to learn how to do that, as well as our YouTube channel is really great. I'll share the link for that at the end. There'll be also some tutorials and things as well on journals there. Rita had asked, can you set a system to can you set the system to track session number? I have a program that is 3 months or 6 sessions, since I usually meet every other week of need to reschedule. So I think, Rita, what you're asking is, yeah, I think what you would use for that is a package. So, if you have a program or, a package of working with clients that has a certain number of sessions included in it, then you can set that up as a package. And that will allow you to add a fixed number of sessions to that package, and it will track which ones have been, completed. So hopefully that helps answer your question. Rita also asked, will ever consider allowing purchases features a la carte? I don't have a client base yet that allows for text reminders. I'm not sure if I'm clear on your question, Rita. Sam, do you understand what she's asking?
No, sorry, Rita. Because like right now you can kind of set your services and packages to be whatever price structure you'd like. So yeah, my apologies, Rita. But if you want to clarify, we'd be happy to answer that before we end the session today.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So let's shift into our next section here. And again, we can come back to that one at the end. But what we wanted to show next is the client recent activity page. So basically, this is going to really highlight where some of these getting started steps that we've gone through, both on Tuesday in part 1 and today, all start to really come together. And, as you introduce new clients into your practice, Practice Better is going to start keeping a client record of all of their activity. And so this is where you're going to see the recent activity page, which I'll show you in a moment. And this is really great because as a practitioner, it allows you to have all the important information you need in one easy to locate place, and really paints like a comprehensive picture of your client journey and everything that's going on in relation to them. So as you'll see, it's just a really nice way to see at a glance, all of the actions and everything going on, and allows you to access everything you need for your client in one place too. So Sam, let's take a look at Mary's client activity stream and how that looks.
Thanks, Jen. So as you mentioned, you'll always see any activity a client has done on the recent activity stream. So you can filter the activity if you want to see what a client has done. So let me pull up, I'll go to my clients here. And when I do so, I'm just going to go ahead and click on Mary. And when her record opens, you'll see the recent activity stream here. So as I was saying, you can check on things such as like booked sessions, if they've received your completed forms, received protocols, all sorts of different types of options. You can even see that some stuff that we did on the webinar today, like when we sent her the form and we shared her the note, those both appeared in her recent activity stream. So a handy feature here I wanted to highlight is you can also filter, you can basically come here and filter the activity. So if you want to kind of check in on a specific thing that a client has done, like I mentioned, like, which sessions they've booked, invoices they've been sent, you can come here and filter it by activity. So let's say, for example, for Mary, I want to check her book sessions. I can just go ahead here and click on bookings. it'll show me all of the activity related to bookings that she's done. And then let's say I want to check that for a specific time frame. I could select the any date option here. And let's say I want to do it, for example, for August of 2021. I could just go ahead and click on that. And then basically this will tell me everything that was related to Mary in terms of bookings for August of 2021. So this is why we find the recent activity is such a handy feature, because you can always check in on anything related to what you've sent your client. So one other thing I want to highlight here is you can also use the widgets section, the widgets in the sections, to quickly view things like upcoming sessions, booking requests, or tasks. So you'll see here, for example, I have an upcoming session with, or Mary has an upcoming session on Friday, and that shows so that way I can quickly see what she's got coming up and what she has scheduled. When your client logs into their portal, they will also have these widgets and will be able to see this information at a glance. So it really makes it easy for them to kind of keep track of what they have going on as well. So one other thing that a lot of people aren't really aware of that I want to highlight here is at the very top of this section, you can actually create and pin notes to remind yourself of important client information. This can be handy for things such as allergies or just general status updates. So for example, if I wanted to just notify myself of something, I'm going to enter that Mary had stopped by to pick up her supplements. So that way I know that she's good to go and I don't have to worry about that with her. And then all I would need to do is once I've entered it, and I can do things like even insert links or, other features like that. All I would need to do is just press on add note here. And once I've done, this will appear in her recent activity field. So it allows for custom updates. But one thing you can do with that too is I can select this pin note option here where it says pin to top. So this will actually perpetually pin it to the very top of the recent activity stream. So even if she does stuff after this, this note about her picking up her supplements, this supplement note will always appear at the top. So this is really great if you have any kind of important client information that you need to remind yourself of before you actually meet with your clients. So one thing I want to highlight as well is that it's also important to note that activity that you have done to the client's record can be tracked here as well. And any activity that is linked to an email notification will be displayed here. If you see an email delivered icon, like this notification where it's green, you know that the client successfully received an email notification and they're able to view it. If you see statuses in red, such as bounced or failed, then that means that there was something preventing the client from receiving it. And you may want to reach out to them. You can do so using the secure chat feature here. And you can just let them know that you tried to email them, but that the email was not received. The last thing to note about the recent activity stream is that you can actually click on items in the feed to be directed there easily. So for example, I could go ahead and just click on the note that we had created earlier, and that will direct me right to the note where I can review it and check out what I need to at ease. So yeah, there's a lot of options that you can really do with the recent activity stream, and that really allow you to kind of keep track of all of your information. So I'll send it back to you now, Jen.
Great. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, we love that recent activity stream. It's just so nice, as you've seen, to be able to get that real just quick snapshot into the timeline of everything going on with the client, ability to filter and add custom notes. And it's really just a nice one-stop shop for anything you need to do in relation to your client, whether it's, booking a session or finding out, if a reminder has been sent or a form has been completed and so on. Yeah, so Carrie had asked, can you unpin a note? Yep, so you can just, Sam, you could just show, you can just click on the pin icon there, and that will unpin it from the top. So it will just then kind of continue to move down in the recent activity stream there. And Rita had clarified her question, so asking about text reminders and the plan levels, which those are available on. So appointment text reminders are only available to be purchased as credits on the professional plan. And then on the plus and team plans, those come with a certain number of credits towards text as part of those plans. Okay. Let's see here. So Maria had asked, are basic information and medical history filled manually, or info are linked to a specific form? So Maria, you could, in your intake questionnaire, have the client complete that information. And then, as we mentioned earlier, you can set up something called mapping, which will then send that completed form information to the client's record so that it is located there automatically. Okay, so you would use the mapping feature for that. Okay, Sam, let me know if you see any other questions here. I'm going to scroll through as well.
I think you got most of them, Jen. Bernadette asked about can you show us the journals? So I'll just kind of quickly open up that tab so you can see what it looks like. But yeah, basically, here I have some real entries here. But yeah, you can basically come here and review kind of any stuff that your client has done. So like it allows you to just kind of come here and view. But one thing I recommend for this is that's actually great is we have a help article called Setting Up a Test Client. This allows you to actually set up a client to see what everything looks like from their perspective. And you can actually log into the portal and you can actually take a stab at entering journal entries so you can see exactly what it looks like. So that's very, very handy. And then as Jen mentioned, we also have a lot of great help articles about journals that you can review on how the journaling process works.
Yeah. And I think just to respect everyone's time, we'll probably wrap things up as we're just over our 45 minutes here. But again, if we didn't answer your question today, just know that there's lots of resources and support available for you. Throughout the whole Practice Better Help Center. We also have a YouTube channel. So I'm just going to copy over a couple of those links. We're also going to send out, again, as I mentioned, all of the links to help articles specifically that we covered for today's session in that replay email. So you'll receive that along with the replays themselves for part 1, which is on Tuesday, as well as today's session. I also wanted to mention too that if you decide to upgrade to a paid plan or you are already on a paid plan, then we have a private Facebook group that is basically another feature available to you as part of a paid plan. And the Facebook group is a really great way to find answers to your questions from other Practice Better users, connect with, like-minded practitioners, get inspiration for, new workflows and new ways to use the platform. So definitely encourage you to join the group if you are on a paid plan. And one other thing to mention too is we will be asking for your feedback on today's session. So in the replay email we send out, there will be a link to complete that, but I also want to put that link in the chat in case anybody wants to do that now. It's just a really quick, maybe 1 minute of your time to complete that. And your feedback is always amazing because we want to be ensuring that these sessions, all of our trainings are really supporting you. So any feedback you have would be really valuable. Karen had asked, where do we get the code for the group, Facebook group? So I had just put that in the chat. I'll copy it and paste it again in the chat, but it's called the Practice Better Inner Circle. So just put the link there to join if you are in a paid plan. And I think that is everything for today. Thank you all so much for being here. We hope this was really supportive in helping you get started on Practice Better. We'll be sending out your replay email with all of the recordings, the links, everything you need. You can use that as a bit of a guide to continue getting set up. And we thank you for being here, and we'll hope to see you again soon on another training.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Bye.
You have a great day. Bye.